Hello, welcome to another episode or podcast of Grow Your Occupancy. I'm Julie Podewitz, founder and CEO, and I'm really excited to talk today with someone I admire very much, Brandi Mullen, who I consider a pre-leasing guru, a guru of so much, but pre-leasing guru and outreach guru. I can't wait to pick your brain a little bit. Brandi, but a little bit about you first, because I know you wouldn't brag about yourself. You're a regional sales manager and you partner with North Carolina, South Carolina, and Midwest markets, right? And you joined Greystar about 3 years ago or so. You've got over 15 years of leadership and management experience, both in operations and sales across really all levels: conventional, independent, memory care, senior living, active adult. Your focus and expertise support coaching on-site teams to drive revenue and occupancy through creative relationship-based selling techniques. You've been very successful in driving performance in lease-up communities, like I mentioned, contributing to a year-over-year increase of doubled growth in 2020 during pre-leasing periods. And we know what 2020 gave us was a little bit of COVID. Yeah.
A little bit.
Brandi.
Julie.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for joining me in your busy schedule.
So happy to be here.
So like I said, you have an amazing track record. And, the first thing that comes to my mind is it started maybe like with pre-leasing. There's a lot of people out there who are in that pre-leasing situation. I spoke with a team the other day. They have been working for about 8 months now, and they're at like zero deposits, really struggling. So what are some of the things that you do or your teams do that yield such great success?
Well, and here's the thing. We did not come out of the gate running, right? So I am 3 years in with Greystar and with Active Adult. The team itself was probably 2 years before myself. So we're going on 5-6 years now of experience and trial and error. And I think one thing that helps us now more than anything in last year and this year is everyone that actually is in the active adult space. So that education piece of when we first started out, we had prospects coming to us, they didn't know what active adult was. So we were already kind of having to work uphill as far as informing them of what even that lifestyle is and why do you want to be a part of it. So not just us, not just Greystar, not just Overture, but everyone that is now coming into our business, our line of business in this platform is really helping each other, because we're really informing them, there may be different levels. We may have a mid-market product, we may have a luxury product, but at its core, I think active adult, we're all trying to do the same thing, same goal of having a really vibrant community to offer active adults that want to change at that point in their life. So I do think that has just been helpful outside of everything that our teams do, is that we have a more well-informed consumer or active adult or an adult child that knows what active adult actually is before they're coming in the door. So that is the first piece. As far as what we have been doing, we've really become experts at personalized experiences. So not every visit, not every phone call is going to look the same. And I know we talk about, scripts and certain questions that we want to hit, and we have those, but ours is about truly getting to know someone and matching that experience and that want to what we have to offer. So it is a little bit more lengthy, maybe not as lengthy as a true senior living sale. However, we're using aspects of that and aspects of conventional. So we also create urgency. So, and I know that may not be a term that we use in assisted living and memory care as much, right? We're kind of working along with that family or with that prospect. we can use that conventional aspect to create that urgency of, you know what, in pre-leasing, the best floor plans go first. You're getting the best pricing out of the gate. You're getting the most incentives up front because we are that far out. So we utilize the sense of urgency that we can create as well to really get those deposits over the edge. Also, because we have been in it so long, we now can offer experiences at our sister communities. So when I first started, we were just coming up on 20 communities. We now, with our third party and everything that we're doing, have, I think we're over 68 communities at this point. So, you know, you may be interested in a community in Charleston, and we have one opening in Raleigh. Well, go visit that other one in Charleston. Go visit go visit a sister community in Atlanta, even if you're planning on moving to Cape Cod. So we can provide an experience for you prior to, you know, you blindly signing up with us.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that initial, you know, that discovery, that the conversation, going, you know, taking your time with that, working really hard to get to know people, right? And really what motivates, make that connection, slow down, right? Slow down there, really take the time. And don't confuse that with the lack of sense of urgency, right? So slowing down, kind of knowing when to slow down, when to kind of speed up, right? To just because it's pre-leasing, you don't have a building doesn't mean you can't get a deposit today, right? And there's urgency, or just because you can't show something, or for people that may not have a sister community, I think it's a great idea if you do. And like you said, if you don't have even if it maybe someone doesn't have a sister community that looks just like, you know, if you got some unique products, experience the feeling, right? Or the, you know, the emotion or the energy. I think that's a great idea. You know, Brandi, when you were talking, that discovery and slowing down and really getting to know, and it's not something that we all haven't said many, many times, and we keep going back to the basics because the basic fundamentals and foundations work, right? Why do you think we all know it, but yet it's not happening to the degree it needs to happen, that discovery piece?
Because I think we become complacent. You know, that's what I see even out of sometimes my best sales consultants, because the thing with active adult is sometimes the sale does lean a little bit more conventional. I don't think it's ever 100% a conventional sale, but we do have people that are coming to us that are ready to make a decision that day, that have been educated either by themselves or by someone else on what active adult is. They like the location, you know, so it can run pretty conventional sometimes, but you're really doing yourself a disservice if you're not asking those unique questions. We focus on storytelling. If you don't know what's important to that prospect, are you going to know whether to share a story of a resident who, you know, was really lacking in socialization, really wanted that community piece, how their life was changed by the friendships that they've made so far, or someone who is having an issue with downsizing and you want to tell a story about a prospect that had issues with that or moving towards adult children. So if you don't know what to identify, if you don't know what to focus on, how are you connecting with this prospect other than giving them the same information that you give everyone? So I think it becomes out of complacency, and it is just reigniting that fire, I think, as regionals, to be curious about every single person that comes in the door. Don't worry about the call sheet. With the questions will come, right? Of everything that we want them to check a box and gain. If you are genuinely curious about the person sitting across from you, how would they not? How are you not going to connect with them?
A really, really good point, that curiosity. And isn't that what I think anyway, one of the most fun part or aspect of this job is getting to know people. And how do you get to know somebody? You have natural curiosity, great interest in others and you want to learn about them, right? You want to have them talk to you. And in our effort not to be pushy, right? Not to feel salesy so many people drawn to senior living are drawn for all the wonderful aspects and the culture and the giving and the the love and the connection and really that the end result. But don't want to sell, don't want to be pushy, right? In our effort not to sound salesy or not to be pushy, or to we like you said, maybe it's complacency, maybe it's just lack of practice or something, where we are salesy because we're telling them about our product and services way too soon, too much, without any kind of, like you said, if you don't know what's important to your prospect or the person you're talking to, how the heck are you
well, and that's where they get into it, and my teams will tell you, I mean, we have some very interesting conversations and coaching sessions of, I mean, that's where you get into feature dumping, right? If you don't know what's important to them, you are just hitting every single thing that we have to offer or even thought about offering. So to just make it really personal to that person, it does. You can't put the cart before the horse, right? You have to learn what is important in order to gain their trust and to gain that sale, or asking for the sale too soon. You should be able to, after a proper discovery, phone call, visit, virtual tour, to lay out everything that you've just gone over and to present them, this is the next step. I mean, we've identified that you want to be here. We identified that this is going to be the perfect home for you to spend your retirement. The next step is the deposit and the application. Let's sit down and get that done today so you have it out of the way. And we operate sometimes out of fear of hearing no or being pushy, but there is nothing wrong with, once you've done your job, for asking for that close.
What advice, Brandi, would you give for any level of care or service or lifestyle? But let's start more with the active adult independent living. For, let's say we have done our job, we feel like we made a good connection, we know a lot, and that they aren't ready to deposit. We have asked. What suggestions might you have for those follow-ups, the relationship building? So someone who's not at the bottom of the funnel, they're kind of right in the middle.
Sure.
Thoughts
well,
there?
And yeah, I mean, you can't give up. And I get it that as a sales consultant, you want that close, you want that sale. That's just the first step. The first time you hear no is just the first time, right? As long as they're not saying never. And it's going to be, how do I advance that sale and how do I plan for that prospect? Is it no because my son or daughter needs to see it? Is it no because I have a home to sell? Is it, there could be a million, we've heard them all. It is, how do we help advance if it's not going to be a deposit, how do we advance the sale? So I could absolutely understand why you need your son, daughter to come with you. Can I reach out to them to set up that appointment? Or, can I call you tomorrow once you've had a chance to talk to them? I would love to set up something virtually. They're not coming into town for 2 months. Hey, I would love to set up something where I walk them around the community virtually. Where do they live? Could they visit a sister community? So as you can hear, and that's what I spend a lot of time with my teams on, we're not pushing, right? We're offering options. They're giving us their answer, and we're offering options on what the next step is going to
be. If you don't offer options, why would someone take they can't take something that you don't offer, right?
Correct.
Got to give them options.
But we need to have a plan for them, because what else are you going to do? You're going to wait 3 weeks and just call? And one of my lines with my teams, again, if you're just calling to check in, you're calling for a check. You want the check in hand. So that's not a good feeling. That's not building a relationship, right? No, I'm going to reach out to you because we have an event going on. I'm going to reach out to you because I thought of you. I read an article in the paper. Oh, by the way, is your house for sale yet? So of having good reasons, good quality touches, good reasons to reach out and laying it out for them. That's fine. We'll do this, this, and this. We will get you there. If it's objection that the house needs to sell, great. Have you even taken a meeting with a realtor yet? Do you know how much your house could sell for nowadays we know what's going on with the market. Or I would love to offer you a great contact for a downsizer, on your own time. We can have them reach out to you. So being an advisor and being able to help them with what they need to get over that next objection.
Brandi, listening to you, I want to do whatever you're advising me to do. I'm ready to list my house right now. But you come across, you're very passionate, you're very confident, and you come across it, you know what you're talking about, and you're, that, and you're not saying anything that is not, no offense, but it isn't new, right? I mean, it's like you're kind of given some options and things that you've probably done many, many, many times. It's your delivery, you're passionate, you've got urgency, but you don't sound pushy. You sound like, I know this is important to you, and I'm excited, and I'm also confident that let's keep going with this. And that just means so much. How do you get confident like that?
I think of just knowing your prospect and knowing your leads and having, it didn't always come easy. Those first times you hear those objections and those first times that you stumble through, what you're going to do with that, it's all been a collection of my own experiences, or luckily I get to work with so many teams of, building great relationships with my sales consultants. So they share with me, not, yes, Brandi, everything's fine. No, everything's fine all of the time. No, this prospect said this to me, and I really had a problem responding, or I couldn't think of what the next step could be. Well, let's brainstorm that so that the next time this comes up, because it's not going to be the first time, right? Though, as you mentioned, it is not rocket science, but it's not new. It's nothing that we hear is really new, but it can be new how we respond to it. It could be new that our confidence is there now when we respond to it. It could be new that we have more options to respond. But I appreciate that compliment, because that is one thing that I'm really passionate about, as far as the brainstorming and with my teams, and what are some options, so that I never want anyone who works for us to sound like a car salesman, or to sound like they work in a conventional apartment building. So there's definitely a look, a feel that we're going for with our sales process.
You've got so much to offer, and so much to say, that I would ask that we do a part 2 with you on outreach and, driving that traffic or events, or what do you do if I'm in an active adult, or I'm in a, independent living, or any level of care, but really that active adult piece, or independent, and I don't have a building, or my leads are down, right? What to do. Before we switch over to that, though, if you could sort of wave your magic wand, and you could maybe fix quote unquote one thing in senior living on the sales side, or something that, again, you've been doing this for a long time, and something like a repeated bump or repeated mistake, or really wish I could wave the wand and fix, what would it be?
I mean, I know it's a little bit broad, but it is sales culture. When we talk about to have every community to treat sales as a team sport. So, we focus on the KPIs and the metric. I mean, they're so important, right? When we're working with coaching, but sometimes we miss that bigger picture. My most successful teams, I have assistant community managers, which in our realm, they really focus on invoicing, they focus on resident ledgers, they focus on move-ins. I have assistant community managers that are closing 2 to 3 sales a month, because they jump in and not only take the tour, they're owning the follow-up. I have tour experiences that happen at communities where they always meet someone on the staff. And hopefully it's with my coaching that I coach, that it should be who's important to them. If home maintenance, if the maintenance-free lifestyle is what's important to them, I want them meeting my maintenance superintendent. If socialization is important, I want them meeting the lifestyle coordinator. Maybe if they're a little old school, they're a little bit trepidatious, community manager all day, right? They respect that leadership. I think it's important. And it starts with the leadership of the building. So I work not only with sales consultants, I work with the community managers too, because I think you would know, Julie, that as regionals, as much as we like to be on site and in contact, we're not there all the time. It's not 24/7 like it starts at the top in the building. So I think sales culture, number one, and number two, stop presenting. I have visited, I have secret shopped and shopped with them knowing who I am, so many communities, and sales consultants are giving one long presentation. And that, to me, that tour could have been given to me as an adult child, that could have been given to a prospect, that could have been given to a referral partner, because all it was one run along feature dumping sentence is what it feels like, and not that true, let me get to know you, personalizing it. I think if your team is not doing that, if anyone can shadow with their sales consultant, or if you are a sales consultant and you think, wow, I could give that tour in my sleep. It's alarm. Let's see what I can change up, and it doesn't happen overnight. All that we're talking about is practice, right? So I'm going to try to personalize at least 2 aspects of my tour tomorrow, or I'm going to try to ask one deeper question when I could hang up the phone with somebody tomorrow. So it's just starting with one extra step and building from there. But I think it's really what has become a pet peeve of mine is a tour that looks like a tour that looks like a tour.
Well, dust the magic wand off, because it's sort of, we've kind of come full circle. In part 1 with Brandi, you started out with that connection, how important making the connection, just having a conversation, learning about someone, right? And just circle back to the problem that keeps coming up, that if you had your magic wand, you'd like to fix, which is the canned tour, talking too much, presenting. I've been on mystery shops or like not mystery shops, where they literally had flip, like it was a presentation and they would have flip and talk. So perhaps one, it's one conversation at a time, and one commitment at a time, right? It's each small change.
Absolutely. And it's always one more thing. I always challenge anyone I'm working with. What is that one extra step? What is that one extra thing you can do for that prospect to make them feel comfortable, to make them trust you, to impress them, to give them a good first impression? So we talk about on my teams a lot of what's your one more thing. And then also familiar with the term of, we call it Vanna Whiting. This is the club room, and this is the gym, and if you get to your third, Vanna needs to exit stage left, and our sales consultant needs to come in and take over.
Brandi, thank you so much for taking time and sharing your expertise. And listeners out there, don't despair, because I'm going to pick her brain a little bit more, and that will be coming up in another episode. So thanks so much, Brandi.
Thanks for having me, Julie. Loved it.